Welcome back, chemistry students. This is a little video lecture on acid-base reactions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is review. The acid-base reactions and the hydrolysis reactions that we are about to talk about can be thought of as double replacement reactions, which you learned how to manipulate and predict products for back in Unit 4. So here we are again in Unit 7, touching on this again. So you can see here that an acid-base reaction is called a neutralization reaction. When an acid reacts with a base, we say that that acid and base are neutralizing each other. You can kind of think because acids and bases are opposite of each other, that's why we call it neutralization. And remember that we indicate an acid by using HX or HA sometimes, and then the base YOH. Acids have hydrogen, bases have hydroxide. They are going to make what is technically called a salt. It is an ionic compound of a parent acid and a parent base. And then the other product is water. And the pH of this reaction, as you may have guessed, is neutral. So I'm going to give you some time here to do practice, and then you can check your answers. But I'm not going to go over how to write the formulas and predict the products for the equation again. So just a quick reminder that we crisscross charges to get formulas for compounds that contain ions. So hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide, nitric acid with magnesium hydroxide, and calcium hydroxide with acetic acid. If you will get a look at those, don't forget to write the formulas, balance the equation. Go ahead and pause the recording right now to take a few minutes to answer those and then check your work. Please do not just just move on through. It's important for you to practice doing this so that you know what you're getting wrong and what you're getting correct. So pause the recording, write your reactants, predict your products, and balance the equations. Okay, so here are the answers. We know that hydrochloric acid is a binary acid. If you need to go back and review your acid nomenclature, please do. And the salt from this hydrolysis is sodium, or from this neutralization is sodium chloride. Nitric acid reacts with magnesium hydroxide. Remember, nitric acid, because it does not start with hydro, is a ternary acid, hydrogen bonded to a polyatomic ion. Crisscross those charges to get the correct formulas. And then calcium hydroxide, again with the ternary acetic acid, will give us that calcium acetate and water. If you need to pause and make changes and jot down questions, please do that. Okay, so the opposite of neutralization is what we call hydrolysis. It's called salt hydrolysis. What happens is the salt actually separates the water just a little bit, and it's enough to make a slightly acidic or basic or neutral solution. So the lab that you're going to do today deals with salt hydrolysis. You're going to test some salts when they ionize in water and come up with a rule of thumb for how we know whether a salt is acidic, basic, or neutral in nature. Now, one thing that you want to know when you're considering salt hydrolysis is you have to have those 6 strong acids memorized and the strong bases. If you don't know the strong acids and bases, you'll never be able to figure out the nature of the salt. So, salt plus water yields acid plus base. And you can see that we can use our general formula for a salt, YX plus water, yields our acid, HX, and our base, YOH. It's not always quite this simple because there are compounds that are basic that do not contain a hydroxide ion in their formula, but we'll stick to the more commonplace bases that have hydroxide. So again, double replacement. Write your formulas, predict your products, balance the equation. So here's some examples for you to try. Write the equation for the hydrolysis of each of these salts. So if I say hydrolysis of the salt, you're going to put that salt and react it with water. Please pause the recording and take a minute to answer those 4 questions, or write those 4 equations, and then I'd like you to check your answer. And again, the most benefit will be if you stop and do this yourself and then check to see where you're right or wrong. If you're getting them all wrong, don't just ignore that. Get help, get it fixed. Okay, so pause the recording. Alright then, welcome back. Salt hydrolysis equations. You can see we have the sodium chloride reacting with the water, and that makes the strong parent base, sodium hydroxide, and the strong parent acid, hydrochloric acid. After today's lab, I'll have you predict the nature of the sodium chloride. Please remember that a lot of chemistry is logical. You can probably do that without testing, but we'll have you test. Calcium phosphate will form calcium hydroxide and phosphoric acid as the acid member and the base member. Sometimes you'll hear them called the parent acid and the parent base, or the acid member and the base member of the salt. Of course, lithium nitrate, aluminum bromide. Take a minute to check your work. And then this lecture is done.